Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. I'm in the book. We're going to talk about something I really like. You know what that is? That's the pyramid of Saqqara. Okay? We're going to go to that. I'm going to take you to the history of the pyramid. I'm going to break down my man, Imhotep, the designer of the first step pyramid. And then we're going to talk about my boys. Okay? The Great Pyramid of Giza. So we about to do a nice little history lesson. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storyteller, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I gave you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not, knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but simple, yeah. But you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I couldn't waken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. We're gonna get into some step pyramid, the step pyramid of Saqqara. I'm gonna tell you about the design of my man Imhotep, the first multi-genius. I bet you a lot of y'all didn't even know who he was, but when I get through, you will. All right, let's go. And if I got time, I'm gonna take you over. We're gonna do pyramids. Okay, we started with Saqqara, the first one. We're gonna end up with the Great Pyramid, the father, son, and grandson. Khufu, Kari, and Menkaure. Let's go. Start with the step pyramid of Saqqara. And this guy right here, he was the pharaoh, Zoja. Okay. They got a thing with a temple when you go to it's a hospital. You go to it and you look inside, you see him looking back at you with them big eyes. All right, but he was a bad man. He hired Imhotep to build his mastaba. Those are the first burial spots with mastaba, the one step shell. So he had a different idea. He wanted Imhotep to hook him up, something different. So he got the layer cake. They call it pyramids. All right, let's go. In ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, my bad. Egypt ain't ancient. Kemet is. Ancient Kemet is a land of what? Many firsts. And chief among them is the distinction of being the home of the world's first skyscraper. That's one. The first stone building ever constructed and still stands majestically within the vast complex of temples at Saqqara. It's still there. It's still there in its rare form. Beat up, but it's still there. All right. It is called the Step Pyramid. All right. Excuse me. All this time they've been building pyramids, and they still calling them tombs for the pharaohs. But they have yet to find a damn pharaoh in any one of them. So why we keep calling them tombs? They not. We bury them in the West Bank. See, another lesson, but they are not tombs. They didn't find nobody in it, but they keep saying the tombs. Right. When the liar tells a lie, he gonna keep lying. He ain't gonna stop. So they still tell the same lie. There's a tomb. Ain't nobody found it in there yet. I know pyramids. It's the symbolic concept, and they really missed the boat on that one. All right, but the first stone building ever constructed still stands majestically today within the vast complex of the temples of Saqqara. It is called Step Pyramid. Now, there is a total of 15 royal pyramids at Saqqara. Most are in the various stages of despair. Yeah, run down, beat up. Anything in the desert that you don't keep up, that's gonna wear it out. Okay, that's gonna beat it down. All right, we know that. But they were all developed from the same prototype. Who designed it? My man, Imhotep. We get to him in a minute. I almost changed my name to Imhotep. That's how much I thought of him. Okay, I thought he was the bad man. Still do. But the Step Pyramid was built around 2630 BCE for a king of the third dynasty named Zoser, spelled with the Zoser. Now, his pyramid rises to the height of 197 feet in a series of 6 box-like steps called mastabas. It was all pretty one on top, below the top. They're called tier cake, layer cake. Now they make the layer cakes like that. But from the Arabic word, which means mud benches. Remember, they made this stuff out of mud and send them in block, put in block, and let them heat from the sun. Okay, so they call them mud benches. The early mastabas were small rectangular tombs in which the bodies of nobles were buried during the early dynastic period in Kemet. The Step Pyramid of Zoser represents a profound shift in construction or the traditional tombs. So he wanted something different. Okay, he was a man. He thought outside the box. All right, but in this instance, you have 6 mastabas are built one on top of the other. Each of the 5 mastabas was smaller than the one beneath it, so they're going up smaller, smaller, smaller. Okay, but this created a tiered monument that symbolically represented what? The stairway to heaven. Everything our ancients did was symbolical. But you can take that philosophy and the concept and manifest it to make it work for yourself. Idea, how you gonna get to heaven? Think right, use this, live right. They gave the blueprint. We got the blueprint. That's what they wanted you to understand. And they knew that back then. Watch this. Now, the complete structure was encased in polished limestone. The pyramid today, and that wasn't this one. The pyramid today was covered in white limestone. They took all of that, chopped off in gold, okay? We represented, or we respected that. The invaders didn't. Books of the dead, they come from what? Dead people's coffins. Hence, Book of the Dead. Yeah, when they was coffin, they were grave robbers. I would get a little upset about that. But them, that's what they called. The first pyramid was born when they put the limestone in and sheeted it up, make it look nice and shiny and good and gleaming. That's how it started out. So the Step Pyramid is but one of the number of structures comprising the large stone complex ever built under the rulership of one leader. That was the creme de la creme at their time. The UN is still standing. The 7 wonders of the world, 6 of them ain't still here. Pyramids still up. The uniquely stylized architecture. Okay, you got to be a bad somebody of this enclosure. I'm going to show you a picture inside the pyramid. It ain't just a big pyramid. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on up in that thing. And they ain't figured out how they built it yet. That's another matter. That's what amazes me. They can't do that. Why? They don't have a clue how it was done. They say aliens did it. Everybody, they don't have a clue. But I like that. So I'm big on pyramids for my personal reasons. But the Step Pyramid, all right, uniquely standified there. And guess what? The uniquely stylized architecture of the enclosure walls, they still use that concept today. And the adjoining colonnades gives the impression what? That you are viewing a contemporary structure, not one that was built more than 4,500 years ago. It's been around a while. Only thing been around longer than pyramids is that other thing I just gave you a lesson about the Sphinx. Okay, so they've been around for a while. The architecture designs employed at this site set a architecture standard in Kemet that lasted for the next 3,000 years. They practiced the pyramid building concepts for the next 3,000 years. Okay? And this is what they look like. This enclosure walls right here. You see the pyramids right there? This is where they all worked at, pretty much lived at. So they claim now I'm gonna get into that in 1 second. These are colonnades. It's 40 of these. It's supposed to be 42 for my yacht, but the 40 provinces they had to add 2 to make it 42. But back then it was just 40. All right. So, and let me read this off to you. I showed you the one over here, the enclosure wall of the Saqqara complex with the step pyramid in the background. That's why I just showed you the one, the pyramid right next to it. The colonnades, detailed of engaged columns at the temple complex. Shows you that. And this right here, note the similarity between enclosure wall of Saqqara and the detailed places facade and the Nubian incense burning found in Quartel in 300-400 BCE. There's the colonnades, these enclosure walls, and this is a incense candle, an incense holder. But the diagram is like the walls here. But this is in Nubia, circa 3,400. We did it in stone, and we did it big. They did it big, especially Ramsey. He went off the hook. I'm gonna give you about Karnak. I gave that lesson. All right, this guy here, Imhotep. Okay, we know what color he is, right? This is the world's first multi-genius. Now he designed all of that stuff. He was designer of the plateau of Saqqara. That was his job. They mimic him in Giza. But watch this. I just showed you the enclosure walls at the Saqqara complex was originally, you know how tall it was? 1,800 feet long and 900 feet wide. If you got math calculations, that's a lot of distance, okay? For anybody. This wall rose to the height of 30 feet. Now, they got the Great Wall of Benin. They talking about the Great Wall of China. That Great Wall don't mean jack. The Great Wall of Benin was 4 times longer than the damn Great Wall of China. A lot of people don't know that. Again, history. That's what I'm trying to give you a history of us. So that's what I'm trying to give you lessons. So this is what I do. All right. But, 800 feet. And it enclosed more than a square mile of land. Upon entering the pyramid complex of Zoja, you must walk through what they call the colonnade, consisting of 40 columns. Yeah. Believed to represent the 40 provinces. Up north, we did it 42. That's what the 42 cataracts. The 6 cataracts, 42 gnomes, excuse me. But you have 40 provinces, or states, as we call them. Again, we call them gnomes, in early Kemet. The design of these columns is quite reminiscent of what? The architectural style that would be attributed to who? The Greeks. As a Mason, we got the 5 steps of architecture. 5 senses of the body, but the 3, 5, 7, 1 represents the 1, 5 represent 5 steps of the senses of architecture. Again, Ionic, but the Doric, Ionic, Corinthian, composite, and man. But when I used to teach, and I would rip them off right there. I got to go in my book and study, but I ain't fresh with it. Again, God would take the gift that he give you from you if you don't use it. Meaning your memory. If you don't practice it, you're going to lose it. Trust me. Anything that you got the gift with, if you don't use it, don't cultivate it, you will lose it. Self-mastery, that's what you want to do. Know yourself and don't lose yourself. All right? But if you have a talent and you use it, you won't have it long. All right. But the design of these columns is quite reminiscent. Okay, did that. But the architecture responsible, the architect, it's my man Imhotep, who responsible for the design of the step pyramids and its surrounding compound, was referred to by Menthol in 285 BCE as the inventor of the art of building with hewn stone. This architecture's name was dun, 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 Imhotep. I-M-H-E. Some people use the O because they say Imhotep, T-E-P. Some people use the O is H-O-T-O-P. Some people I prefer the H-E-T-E-P. If I write it without the O. I write it with both E's. All right, but this guy was. And he is described as the world's first, not genius. No. We got a bunch of geniuses. No, he's a multi-genius. This guy, Imhotep, brilliance and succeeded his architecture ability, for he was also revered as an astronomer. Ready for this one? A spiritual philosopher, a poet, and a physician. He wore a few hats. And he didn't just wear them. He mastered them, okay? He wore them well, okay? He real well, trust me. And that's the concept. They deified him. They claimed him to God, okay? Human being, he's the first deified human, okay? He wasn't, no, he was real. He's the actual person. So they deified him, put him in the pantheon with the mythical gods, okay? He one of them, all right? But that's my dude, Imhotep, all right? But now he was also recorded in history as the world's first physician. He was doing brain surgery way back then. Designing pyramids, doing brain surgery, writing poetry, and spreading the word philosophically, spiritual philosopher. He was a bad man. He was the GOAT. It was simple as that. Yeah, just crown him the GOAT. Why? He had it going on. And I got nothing but mad respect for that guy. All right. Now, watch this. He was also recorded history of the world's first physician, a title that was later bestowed upon who? A Greek, okay, named Hippocrates. The Hippocratic Oath is what y'all take as doctors today, right? That's him, Hippocrates. That's him today. He don't come close to Imhotep, but move on. Let's watch this. Who was born, watch this. How can he be the father of medicine? The Greek name is Hippocrates, who was born some 2,200 years after Imhotep. That's like thinking LeBron James is the GOAT. No, he ain't. Mike is the GOAT. Some things you just can't. No, don't waste your time. Don't waste your breath. With young people, that's your argument. Old head, I don't waste my time with that. Moving on. But again, when the facts are there, he was 2,000 years later. So how the hell can he be the father of anything? But that's them Greeks. Or they give it to you every time. It's like a Greek. Yeah, they hold you every time. You say my name is Larry. You say my name is Lawrence. Hey, Larry. Say my name is Bobby. Hey, Robert. I wouldn't get along well with them guys. Moving on. That's still, and today, we still got to answer for what that nonsense they started. They renamed everybody. Moving on. And I don't know if it's the thing about that, but I call people who makes me when I see them, whatever image I can project in my mind, I would try to give that title or label, not to demean or disrespect, but just so I can remember them. So I give people nicknames. So I kind of understand, but I also know that when you name something, you control it. Okay, I know that part about that too. And they was doing it for that reason, not to, like I said, I'm doing the nicknames I can remember, grasp a concept in my mind. When I see you, I put them together so I can remember you. I ain't good on names. How about that? So that's my way I compensate. Okay, I knew that a long time ago. Well, yeah, man, I call you so-and-so. Oh, you so-and-so. No, don't worry about it. I know why. some form of dyslexia, I guess. But yeah, that was my thing. But I didn't do it out of disrespect to try to label some people. No, I don't got time for that. But that's what I was doing to just for my personal self. I'm letting too much information. Get back to the lesson. All right, let me wrap this up for you. But during his lifetime, Imhotep was given many titles. Sound familiar? Moving on. Among them, watch this, Chancellor of the King of Lower Kemet, which was Zoja. The first after the king. He was, in his day, he was just more popular than the pharaoh, the king, okay? Of Upper Egypt, Upper Kemet. Why keep throwing that Egypt in there? But, and also, this is another part. He's a high priest at Heliopolis. And, what's that? Administrator of the great palace. He worked at the house, the big house. Just to name a few. He was called a whole bunch of stuff. He was given a whole bunch of titles, and the kicker is he was deified 2,000 years after he died. By who? The residents of Kemet, and was later referred to as Asclepius by who? Yeah, you said it. The god of medicine by the Greeks. They got to get theirs in. They're going to get theirs in. Them, be nice. Calm down. They're gonna make it be known. But they tried to sell you out on. They started to create civilization. They were the thinkers. They had me hooked, but they was great thinkers. Hence, right thinking. I learned Greek mythology, master's degree in Greek mythology, way before I went to Egypt. Did never mention a damn word. Not a word. I still got a problem with that, as you see. But what's this? And they called him the father of medicine. So now you give Asclepius the title, which is really Imhotep. Again, you don't know who it is. You go, who the hell is Asclepius? Imhotep. Why did you call him Imhotep? Sorry. But he's the god of medicine by the Greeks. As a spiritual philosopher, I like that. Imhotep is also credited with what? Having written many poems. I guess if somebody found my books, they probably thought they was poems because I write and add on. So they probably thought, oh, look at the poetry. My dude says best. Don't worry about it, right? In 50 years from now, they'll love right thinking. I digress. But he also wrote poems and proverbs, and the most famous of which that his writings, you familiar with this saying? Why is this? I know you're going to know this one. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we shall die. That's his. We give it to the Greeks. We give it to the Spartans. Everybody got that saying, that's like the death march. No, it's not. It's a concept of life. But see how we misinterpret and we swear we got something. They often run in there, but it don't mean we about to die. We gonna go out and fight and all that. No, they used it for that purpose though. I've seen it and I understand it, but they missed the concept. But he's telling you, eat, drink, and be merry for what? That one day, the next day, tomorrow, you will die. Death will come to this body. That's a guarantee. The Egyptians knew that. They wasn't obsessed with it. They just knew it, and they knew how to what? Conquer it and defeat it by what? Gaining knowledge of self. Using this thing to get in touch with God. Become one with your higher self, and the spirit and consciousness goes on forever. Physical body stays here. If the mind, the heart is conscious as one, you know who you are, you go home. That's the concept. Let me wrap this up. I see the clock. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to do the Great Pyramid in a whole nother lesson. All right, right here. Very rarely, if ever, is a nobleman more popular than the king. Okay, who he works for, who he serves. That's unheard of. But in this case, Imhotep, he was worshipped in early Christianity as what? You ready for this? Prince of Peace. And described as the first, it's going to piss some people off, Christ. But that title Christ, not Jesus the Christ, he was Imhotep the Christ. Why? Because he was the anointed one. He knew himself. Ding, 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 ding. He had nihas. He was conscious of him and God being one, and he exercised and cultivated his talent and his skills to what? Further mankind. Get no better than that. That's why he's my hero. And we about to get into my favorite concept, the pyramid things. Okay, them buildings I love to talk about. All right, in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me 100 minus a day. So I know that my right thinkers who now understand that post-step pyramid of Saqqara and my man Imhotep have passed away. I'm about to get you into the great pyramids. Let's have some fun. I'll be right back.